ooh, potential future donor. Let's give John a spot. And they ended up giving John, I can't remember exactly, it was $25,000 or $30,000 in scholarships. So about half the cost of the college. So again, we want to play the game and give the college whatever it is that they're asking for. There are 3 questions that you need to ask every college. And the first question is, how much need will you meet? So the formula is cost of attendance subtract EFC equals need. So the first thing that we want to do is try and get our EFC as low as possible, and sometimes there are some things that we can do to lower that number. So of that, in my example here on the screen is we've got a cost of attendance of $30,000. We'll do simple numbers. $30,000 is the COA, the EFC is $10,000, and we've got a need of $20,000. Of this $20,000 of need that we qualify for, what percentage of that are they going to give us? And every college is different as to what their percentage is. In my example here, I'm going to say that they're going to meet 75% of our need. So they're going to give us 75% of our $20,000 that we qualified for, which leaves us with what's called $5,000 of unmet need. So a truer cost for this student to go to this college, they're already going to expect $10,000 from the EFC. We've got an unmet need of $5,000, so a truer cost is going to be $15,000 for the student to attend this particular college. This is called gapping. When a college is looking at a student, they're asking a whole bunch of questions. And one of the questions that they're asking is how will this student impact our rankings? Will this student impact our rankings positive, neutral, or negative? If it's negative, we're going to reject the student. If it's neutral, well, then they might do something like this, where they would gap the student. Well, we'll admit them and we'll give them a couple dollars in that. But if it's positive, ooh, how do we get this kid to come to our school? Let's give him a really great scholarship package. So that's the first question. How much need will you meet? And the second one is, of the need that you're going to actually give us, how much of that, what's the split on it? How much will be gift aid and how much will be self-help? And gift aid is scholarships and grants. We want that. We want lots of that. That's the free money that we get that we don't have to pay back. The second one, self-help, is broken into 2 categories. And the first category is loans, and the second one is work study. And work study is where the student works for one of the colleges or one of the college entities, and they will earn a paycheck, and they can use that paycheck to pay for college or use it for pizza money or buy books or whatever. When I was in college, I had a work study job in the cafeteria, cleaning off the trays on the conveyor belt. Do you know what college kids do with their food after they're done? Gross. I didn't last very long in that position. I have 3 kids, and my oldest, and all 3 of them are done with college, so yes, you can survive, okay? When my oldest daughter was in college several years back, when she was a sophomore in college, she called me on the phone and said, "Dad, I applied for a work study job." Awesome, great. Then a couple weeks later, she said, we were talking with her again, and she says, "Dad, I got that work study job." Wonderful. What is it? Silence for a brief moment. And she said, campus security. Tell me you got the sweet hours. Yep, the 11 p.m. to the 3 a.m. shift. Okay. When my middle daughter was in college, she was sitting in a theater class, and the theater professor said, "Does anybody here know how to sew?" And my daughter kind of reluctantly raised her hand and said, "I hemmed a pair of pants once." Guess what? You are our new seamstress and our new costume designer. And she learned a lot that particular year. And while she was making costumes and hemming costumes and all that stuff, she got paid to do that. After she was done and was pretty proficient at making costumes, I said, "Hey, do you think you could make Dad a Comic-Con costume?" And she did, and it turned out great, by the way. So there are a variety of different work study jobs that are available. And our second question is, of the money that we qualified for, What's the split on that? How much will be gift aid and how much will be self-help? And in my example here, I'm going to say that the split is 50-50. 50% is going to be gift aid and 50% is going to be self-help. So that's the first and the second question. And the third question, which is probably the most important of the three questions, and that is, what is the average graduation timeline? How long is it going to take my student to graduate from your college? If you go to my website, AZCollegePlanning.com, and click on the college results button, you can type in the name of any college and it will bring you to this page, and you can read some of the data that's on here. And this one happens to be NAU, and NAU's 4-year graduation rate is 36.3%. And their 6-year graduation rate is 53.3%. Why is it taking these students so darn long to graduate? One reason is because they apply for a class. I need to get into this 200 class before I can get into a 300 class. And that class is full. If your student is an upperclassman, has seniority, they don't care. Okay? So that's one reason they can't get into a particular class. Another reason, which is more predominant, is because students change majors. This week I'm a biology major, next week I'm a business major, philosophy major, that sounds really cool, I'll do that. No, I'm back here, I'm undeclared. Every time a student changes majors, that pushes the graduation window out further and further. So one of the things that we do at AZ College Planning is we help students research careers, majors, and then colleges. And the reason why we want to do it in that order, starting with careers, is a lot of times I'll talk with students and they'll go, I want to go to this college. I want to go to UCLA, or I want to go to Cal, or I want to go to Duke. And my first question is, does that college offer the major and the programs that you want? I don't know, because I don't know what I want to study. So we're going to figure out what the career the student wants to go into, and we have a really fantastic career assessment tool. Once they go through that program, it will generate a list of occupations, and we'll have a conversation with your student. And during that conversation, I will instruct your student on the 11 steps on how to research that career. And it doesn't matter what career it is. The reason why we want to research it now, while we're still in high school, is so that when we do go off to college, we're more solidified, this is the direction I want to go into, and are less likely to change your major and change your mind. It's okay to change your major and change your mind in college. It just becomes expensive to do that. And I love to ask this question. When you start college, how long do you want to be in? Do you want to graduate in 4 years or less? And the answer is always yes, I want to graduate in 4 years. And that's the ultimate goal, is to get them into college, get them a great scholarship package, and then also get them out on time. So yes, AZ College Planning, we're going to help with all of that stuff. There's me. That's my high school senior picture. And I'll tell you my story. When I met with my guidance counselor, I walked into her office. I still remember it to this day. I walked in there, and she says, "Hi, JD." And I said, "Hi, Miss Nuss." And she says, "JD, you are a good artist." "Thank you." "JD, you should be an art major." "Okay, next." And that's how much time I spent talking with my guidance counselor. No offense to any guidance counselors. They're overworked, overbooked, and all that stuff. And I went home and I thought about it for all of about 37 seconds and thought, artists don't make any money. I've got to do something else. And at that time, there was a TV show on, and maybe you guys remember that show. It's called 30-something. And in that show, Gary and Elliot had an ad agency, beautiful office, beautiful cars, all that stuff. And I'm like, ooh, graphic designer, I'll do that. Also at that same time, I was on the phone with a friend of mine, and he was a freshman at Biola University in Los Angeles. And he says, JD, you got to come to this school. It's so awesome. We have the most amazing beach bonfire parties. And they did. It was a lot of fun. And then he says, the girls here are so cute and beautiful. Dude, you got to come here. And my next question was, do they have a graphics department? And he said, yeah. And I said, dude, I'm in. And that's how much thought went into me picking my career, major in college, and all that stuff. What ended up happening is I ended up getting an internship in my junior year. And I really recommend that for your student as well, is to get an internship. The unfortunate thing is I waited till my junior year to do that. I really wish I would have done that earlier on, because when I did get that internship at a graphics house, I decided I don't want to do this the rest of my life, and had to reset and all that stuff. So again, at AZCollege Planning, we're going to help with identifying careers, majors, and then colleges. Here's a quick little story about Lynn. When Lynn came into the office with her dad, we were having a conversation. And when you and your student come in as well, I'm going to ask some of the same questions. And one of the questions that I asked Lynn was, do you have any dream schools, or do you have any colleges that you're considering applying to? And Dad pipes up and says, she's going to NAU because that's all I can afford. And I said, let's play the game. And part of playing the game is applying to 6 to 12 colleges. And ultimately, Lynn applied to 7 colleges. She was admitted to 5 of them. 2 of them fell off the wayside for one reason or another. And it came down to these 3 colleges. And of course, NAU was on that list. The other 2 colleges were Willamette University in Salem, Oregon, and Whitman College in the state of Washington. What was Dad's first question when I helped Lynn identify these colleges? Of course, his first question was, how much are these schools? And these colleges are currently around $60,000. When Lynn was going there, it was a little bit less. Granted, this was 2010. And the sticker price of both Willamette and Whitman College was $45,000. Dad had a coronary right in the office. We pulled out the defibrillator and said, let's play the game. The worst thing that any student can do is apply to one college. If that student applies to one college and is admitted to that one college, other than that college saying, yes, you can come to my school, what else does that one college have to do to get that student to go there? Nothing. If that college now has to compete with 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 other colleges, then that school must offer some form of incentive. And the incentives that we want are scholarships. Okay? So I helped Lynn with her applications, helped her with her essays, also helped her and showed her how to properly market, how to promote herself, how to sell herself to these colleges, so those colleges would look at her and say, yes, we need you to come to our school because you will increase our rankings in one or more category. We want that. So the first school that admitted her was Willamette University. And Willamette offered her $25,500, and Dad's cost was $20,000. Lynn was on cloud 9 for days. I got a big scholarship, yay! Dad, not quite so much, because we still got a $20,000 gap. The second college that admitted her was NAU, and Dad's out-of-pocket cost was $10,650. He said, yeah, I could do that one. Yeah. And then the last school that admitted was Whitman College. And Whitman offered her $40,750 in scholarships per year. And that scholarship, she got that scholarship every year for the next 4 years. What was really amazing is that scholarship also covered 2 study abroad. She did one in Peru and one in Japan. So Dad's out-of-pocket cost was $5,000 to go to that college. Why did they give her that scholarship package? Because they looked at her and said, yes, we need you to come to our school because you will increase our rankings in one or more category. And 2 examples of that is she was a female going to a mostly male-dominated major. Don't ask me which one, I don't remember. And another category was Arizona student going to a college in the state of Washington. So now that college can come back to these publications and say, we have geographic diversity. We got kids from here, there, everywhere, Arizona, yay, and all that. So they're going to make that money up on the back end from additional applications and fees and all that other stuff. So that was the reason why they offered her that scholarship dollar. So let's talk about and compare two different colleges. So in 2018, the sticker price at ASU was $27,700. This year, 2019, it's about $29,000 for 1 year at ASU. And the only variable is EFC. I've got a fantastic EFC calculator that we can figure out what your EFC is. And in my example here on the screen is we have an EFC of $8,320. We did some things strategically to lower that family's EFC to get them to that point. So if we subtract that, we've got a need of $19,424. Now, of that $19,000 that we qualify for, what percentage of that are they going to give us? And the historical giving pattern at ASU is that they're going to meet 61%. So of the $19,000, 61% of that is $11,848. Now, of that $11,848 that they're going to actually give us, what's the split on that for gift aid versus scholarship, gift aid versus self-help? And it's almost 50-50. It's 53% in gift aid and 47% in self-help. So they're going to give the student $6,279 in scholarship or grant and $5,569 in the form of a loan or work study or a combination of those two things for an upfront cost of $15,896. Now on the other side of our screen, our comparison college is going to be Claremont McKenna in California. And Claremont has a sticker price of $67,885. Our EFC is the same, $8,320, and that EFC is going to be the same regardless of whatever college that student applies to, whether it be ASU, whether it be Claremont, whether it be Stanford or Scottsdale Community College. That EFC is going to be a static number for that student for that year. And that EFC number may go up or down as you refile the financial aid forms each year. And yes, you have to do that each year. So we have a need at Claremont of $59,565. There are some colleges that like to boast, we meet 100% of your need and we'll give it to you all in loans. Well, thanks, but no thanks. Claremont McKenna happens to be a very wealthy college. They have $500 million in their endowment system, and they are typically very generous with students. So they're going to meet 100% of the need. So they're going to give the student $59,565 in aid. What's the split on it? It's 92% gift aid and 8% self-help. So they're going to give this student $5,479 in the form of scholarship or grant and $4,765 in the form of self-help, loan or work study, or a combination of those two things for an upfront cost of $8,320. How did I get that $8,300? It's our EFC plus the unmet need equals that amount. But is that really our true college cost? No, there's one more number that needs to be added in there, and that is the loan. And when we look at ASU and incorporate that in there, our total cost for ASU in this example is $21,465. And at Claremont McKenna, our sticker price is $13,085. Now tell me which college is less expensive. Please don't throw out a college based solely on the sticker price until you've looked at all these different numbers. You're waiting for this one. The number one way to get more money is apply to 6 to 12 colleges, 8 to 10 is kind of the sweet spot in the middle, and then negotiate with a college. When Danielle came into the office, it was the beginning of her sophomore year of high school. I asked her and her parents, have you visited any colleges yet? No, I have not. Go and visit some schools. So she went and she and her parents drove down to Tucson and visited U of A. And when she came back, she was very excited and said, I love that school. I wanted to go to that school. That's the only college I'm going to apply to. And I encouraged her, please apply to more than one school. What I want to tell you is definitely go and visit some colleges, or if a recruiter comes to your high school and you talk to that person, if you don't walk away with the impression of, wow, that school's amazing, they did a bad job. Just know that. That is their job. So when Danielle went and visited U of A and came back with the impression of, wow, that school's amazing, they did a good job. So she did apply, and we knew that she had the academics to get admitted, and she got admitted. And her original award letter at U of A was $0. You want to come here? It's $29,000. And Dad called me up in a panic and said, I don't want to pay $29,000 per year for her to go to that college. What do I do? And I asked, what other colleges was she admitted to, and what other scholarships did she get? Oh, she got admitted to this school and she got this much money. I said, great. Take that scholarship, go down to U of A and say, they gave me that, what can you guys do? Not only did they beat that first scholarship package, they also gave Danielle an iPad. Danielle was really excited about the iPad. Dad was more excited about the scholarship dollars. Okay? So apply to a handful of colleges, and when you're applying to those colleges, you want to make sure that you're applying to at least half of those schools that you have a really strong shot at being admitted to. And when I'm working with students, I'm looking at them and I'm evaluating their individual demographic and going, okay, this student's demographic, grades, test scores, the leadership stuff, and the community service that this student has done, these are the types of colleges that I think that they should apply to. So they have not only a better chance of being admitted and getting a great scholarship package. So let me give you a couple examples of that. So McConnell, he applied to 9 colleges and was admitted to all of them. I showed McConnell how to market himself to the colleges, how to sell himself to the colleges, and he got great scholarship packages from multiple schools, and one of the schools, his top choice was NYU. And NYU offered him $65,820 in scholarships per year. His parents' net cost, $8,914. That is amazing. If we add that all together, times 4 years, that is the equivalent of $263,000 of scholarships. So McConnell is now attending NYU. And he's now going into his junior year. He has received that scholarship package each year. I love to ask this question, what's good? Good is getting admitted to college. What's better than that? Getting a scholarship, of course. What's better than a scholarship? Getting full tuition. What's better than full tuition? A full ride. When you're talking to your friends or other students or other parents, and they say they got a full ride at a college, especially any of the in-state schools here, ASU, U of A, or NAU, and they say they got a full ride there, be very skeptical. It is very rare to get a full ride at any of those colleges. I've had, out of the 13 plus years that I've been doing this now, I've had about 5 students that ended up with a true full ride at those colleges. More than likely, when they say that, they got a full tuition package. And full tuition currently at ASU is about $11,000, $12,000. Well, we still got about an $18,000 gap on that. So what's better than full tuition? Of course, a full ride. A full ride is where everything is covered, tuition, dorm, meal ticket, everything is covered. The only thing that is not covered is transportation from your house to the college and pizza money. Other than that, everything is paid for. What's better than a full ride? This right here. And I'll read it to you. This student was offered all tuition and mandatory fees for 4 years. This student was also offered $4,000 per semester cash stipend, another $1,500 per semester on-campus housing stipend. When you add that together, that's $11,000 in stipends that this student was being offered. And when you subtract that from his dorm room and his meal ticket, he's netting $3,000. So what's better than a full ride? Getting paid to go to college. Here's another example. Nicole is currently a senior at WashU. She was offered $45,465 in scholarships. When we add that all together, that's $181,000 in scholarships. Parents' net cost for her to go to that school was $11,000 per year. That's amazing. Bruce is going to Notre Dame, and Bruce is currently in his senior year. Bruce was offered $51,000 in scholarships per year, and parents' net cost $13,000. And I had a conversation with Bruce's father after he was admitted and after he got his scholarship package and all that. And his dad said that he thought that my tagline, it could be cheaper to go to an out-of-state college than to attend an in-state college, was just a sales pitch until he saw this. You know what? We did the same thing, not only for Bruce, but also for his sister. I'll show you her award package in just a moment. Now you're asking me the question, do all of these students have perfect GPAs, perfect test scores, and all super smart? And the answer is no. Here's an example of that. This particular student had a 2.3 GPA, and she was admitted to Spring Hill College in Alabama. And it was less expensive for her to go to this private college than it would have been for her to go in-state to ASU. Here's another story. When Tanner came into the office, he said, JD, I want to apply to the Air Force Academy because my dream is to fly jets for the Air Force. So I'm going to only apply to the Air Force Academy. And I said, let's play the game. And with that, I said, let's apply to all the military academies and every ROTC program and have a backup plan just in case. He agreed to all that. We had several meetings, and in one of the meetings he came in and says, JD, I've been doing some research on the Air Force's website, and I noticed that the minimum ACT score is 25. I got a 26. What do you think? I said, they're going to take your application and throw it in the trash. Really? Yep, because you're just barely above the minimum. So we plugged him into my program, and it's called Beat the Test. And in that particular class, we teach students how to beat the test. What you need to understand with the SAT, ACT, APs, all of those tests are standardized tests. Because they are a standardized test, they have to follow a pattern. And when you identify the pattern in the question will tell you where to look for the answer. It really is amazing stuff. Tanner went through the program. He ended up with a 29 ACT score, outstanding. Got admitted to the Merchant Marine Academy. And when you graduate from the Merchant Marine Academy and they're offering you, what assignment do you want? You have the choice of anything you want. And Tanner said, Air Force. And now Tanner is flying jets for the Air Force. I love to tell this story about Jonathan. When Jonathan and his family came in, I helped him identify a handful of colleges, helped him market himself, helped him with his essays, all of that stuff. And one of the schools that kind of rose to the top was George Fox University, which is outside of Portland, Oregon. In the late spring of his senior year, after we got all of his award letters, Jonathan and his parents and I were having a roundtable conversation, and his parents said, we are willing to spend this much money for college. Anything above that, that's going to be on you, whether it be loans or work study or scholarships or whatever, that's going to be on you. And what George Fox was offering in scholarships and what the parents were willing to pay, we were short $5,000. And Jonathan says, I've got an idea. What if I defer admission at the college? And yes, you could do that. You simply call them up and say, hey, I'm not going to be going there this particular fall. Please hold my spot for 1 year. I'll see you in a year. And there's some paperwork you got to fill out and all that stuff. I'll defer admission, is what he said, and then I'll go get a job. I'll save up $5,000, and then I'll go to college the next year. What do you think? I said, well, what are you going to do? Take a year off, save up some money, and then go to college, and then leapfrog it, take another year off, go to college, leapfrog, et cetera, et cetera. Take 8 years To graduate from college? No, 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 no. Here's what I would like you to do. I would like you to call the college up and speak to your recruiter contact. You know who your recruiter contact is, right? Now I'm asking him loaded questions because I had already instructed him on how to develop rapport with these recruiters. And Jonathan says, yes, I know who that is. I said, great. I want you to call them up on the phone, and I want you to say this. Thank you very much for admitting me. Thank you very much for the scholarship package. My parents are willing to spend a certain amount of money for me to go to college. And after that, plus the scholarships that you've given me, I'm short $5,000. What can I do? And poof, magically, another $5,000 appeared. And Jonathan graduated from George Fox University in 4 years on time. Here's another example. This is Adele. I already told you about Bruce. This is her sister. I'm sorry, his sister. And she's going to TCU. She was offered $216,000 in scholarships for the 4 years, which is roughly about $55,000 or so per year. And Dad's out-of-pocket cost was $10,000. And that's her older brother. We already talked about Bruce. He's at Notre Dame his senior year, and he got a total of $204,000 in scholarships. Here's another student, Cole, at LA Tech. He was offered 100% of tuition plus extra, and when it came down to the total cost, his parents are paying about $8,000 or $9,000 for him to attend that college. That's amazing. I also love to tell this story about Chad. When Chad came into the office, we were having a conversation, and I said, Chad, you've got the package. You've got everything that a school like Vanderbilt wants. You've got the grades, the test scores, the leadership, the community service. You've got all of that stuff. I think you should apply to Vandy. And Chad's mom pulls me aside and says, please don't tell him to apply there because, yes, he has the academics and all to get admitted, but we can't afford $65,000 a year. And I said, let's play the game. Let's play the game. And the short story of it is he got admitted, got an incredible scholarship package. He was offered $231,000 in scholarships over the course of the 4 years he was there. Right after that, I got a very nice email from Chad's mom. Okay. I already told you about McConnell. He's going to NYU. $263,000 is what he's offered in scholarships. Nicole, $181,000 at Wash U. I've got another student at TCU. He was offered $212,000 in scholarships to attend that college. He's currently in his junior year there, really excited about his future. And then we've got another student, Trevor, who recently graduated from NAU, and Trevor graduated 100% debt-free. That's exactly where we want our kids to start their lives, without all that student loan baggage. And you've probably seen all the articles and news reports and TV anchors that are talking about this epidemic of incredible proportions of how much student loan debt is out there in the trillions of dollars, which is amazing how much money is in student loan debt and all that. So we want to graduate with as little or zero student loan debt. So you're next. So I've had families ask me this question, when should we start? And the answer is earlier is better. I have started with students as early as 7th and 8th grade. If they're really high academic, high achieving students, we want to start early so we can really position them for some really great success. Another great time to start is freshman or sophomore year. Again, earlier is better. If you've got a junior or a senior in college, we got to kick it into high gear and really move forward. You probably are familiar with this quote, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. When is the second best time? Right now. This particular student, here is his award letter, and he was offered $39,900 in scholarships, and it was less expensive for him to go to this particular college in Illinois than it would have been for him to go in-state. And one of the reasons why he got this incredible scholarship package is because we did start earlier on the process with helping him really design his resume with the different types of activities that he was going to participate in throughout his high school career. I want to tell your success story. So what will your success story be? I want to help your student get into some really great colleges. I want to help your student get some incredible scholarship packages and really help them on this college adventure. So my services include one-on-one meetings with the students. So your students will come in, we'll have a conversation, and I'll start your student on the process as I evaluate the whole situation and we come up with a game plan. If you are outside of Arizona, we also do Skype and FaceTime meetings as well. If you're local in the Valley here, then you can come out to my Scottsdale office. So we'll do several student meetings. They'll come in, I will give them a homework assignment. They'll go home and accomplish that task. And when they accomplish that task, we'll have a conversation about those findings and then kind of repeat that process. And then we also have parent meetings. And the parent meetings are going to be more on the financial side, looking at your numbers, what can we do to manipulate your EFC to qualify for the most need-based aid on that. And then I host a variety of different classes. Some of the classes I teach are the Beat the Test class. I already talked about that one. How to study. We have a class on that one. How to market yourself to colleges. Building your resume. And we've got a class on doing your applications and your essays. We also have some parent classes which are doing the financial aid forms and sheltering assets and a few other things and all that. When you come into my office for a complimentary consultation, I will be very frank with you and say, yes, I can help you, or no, I can't help you. If I say, no, I can't help you, then I will point you in the right direction and say, this is what you need to do, go and do those things. When I say, yes, I can help you, at that point, I will offer an extension for you to become a client. And what I charge for my services is $39.99. I am very good at what I do. And when I offer that to a family, I already know in my mind that if your student follows my path, is coachable, listens to me, and follows through on all those things that I'm teaching